Welcome back. Yo, what is up? What is up? Good evening, ladies and gents. Well, I'm guessing mostly gents. Good to have you in the building tonight. I apologize for the tardiness, man. I'm actually looking at ways to probably change the schedule just to make sure so the stream goes according to the plan. Forgive me, but these are one of the things I'm probably going to speak about tonight. How's everyone doing, man? If you're in the building, please press a 1 just to confirm that the sound is good. I'm assuming that it is. Today I'm going to be off cam just because I need to distill quite a bit of information, which I'm going to also speak about as well because, you know, camming up, for example, has been one of those contentious sorry, just sipping on my beverage. It's been one of those issues where people have been called out for not coming on camera for one reason or another. So tonight, I'm going to go through 20 things I've learned from YouTube as a failed Black British YouTuber. Oh, I know the previous types are 25, but if you refresh, you're going to see 20. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't really extend to that far. So 20 things that I've learned. And the reason why I'm doing this is because really I want to distill and impart my knowledge that I've learned over the years. And I've been on YouTube for about 7 years now as a content creator, believe it or not. And I think in all that time, I have some best practices to share. And I also have my own mistakes and flaws that I could share that could potentially help others that might want to become a content creator. And I sincerely believe that anyone who's listening, if you're not a content creator, you should definitely become a content creator. I'm going to go into why that is important. In terms of Black British YouTubers, I've always wanted more Black British YouTubers because as Black Brits, we are a niche group. There's not many of us around, so the more we have speaking about our issues and our concerns from our point of view, the better things will be. I think the more wisdom will be circulated, the more points of view, just a better conversation will be had. And so that's why in the past I've always tried to connect YouTubers. I've always wanted to push smaller YouTubers, at least to the point of being monetized, so they can feel a sense of seriousness with what they're doing. I think when you're not monetized, it feels like, what's the point? You know, when you're not seeing any sort of revenue, no potential to gain revenue, it feels like, what's the point? You don't feel like you're making traction, hit and miss, stuff like that. So I've always been keen to help these people because really growing my channel, no one's helped me, to be honest with you. No one has really helped me. Some people have helped me, but I think it was mostly for their own gain. They wanted a certain audience and to tap into a certain algorithm, namely the Black British one. But in terms of understanding YouTube, I've had to figure it out by myself. I've had to do things like buy the right books, seek those YouTube channels that talk about how to, you know, make content. So I think I'm in a good position to kind of disclose some of the things that I've learned, but obviously I'm a quote unquote failed YouTuber. Or am I? Let me share this. Am I a failed YouTuber? Let me share something with you. Just a quick one, just to understand how let me just make sure my Corn Hub isn't up. I'm joking, man. Let me make sure my I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. When you share the screen, man, you always have to be prepared for the worst. So I just want to share some information because I've had some butthurt trolls in the past that will, you know, look at my channel and think, oh, because, you know, you probably don't have 100K subscribers, you're a failed channel, and try to make fun at me, even though curiously they will come back to view my channel. So obviously means that they actually enjoy my channel, but they still want to kind of pocket watch, sub watch, and try to, you know, make you feel a certain way for not having some big channel. But listen, look at this. 91.1% of channels, of YouTube channels, have under 1K subscribers. 91.1%, which means if you have over 1K subscribers, you are within pretty much the 10th percentile of YouTube channels that are on that level. So let me read this. Only a very small percentage have over 1K subscribers. In order to be successful on YouTube, it takes a lot of time, effort, consistency. You need to be creating new and engaging content in order to grow your audience. Do that, then you have a chance at becoming one of the few YouTube channels with over 1K subscribers. You know, we scoff at 1K subscribers. We scoff at, 500 subscribers, probably even 5K subscribers, 10K subscribers, kind of scoff that, oh, you're a small channel, you're nothing. But really and truly, it's a very small and kind of privileged group that reach this plateau. And it goes on. YouTube has 2.6 billion monthly active users. Let me repeat that. YouTube, the app, has 2.6 billion monthly active users. That is about 1 in 3 people from the entire Earth's population, making YouTube the largest video sharing site and streaming video platform worldwide. So 1/3 of humanity uses YouTube. And this is really the key point that I want to drive home as to why you listening, who might be 50-50 on the fence in terms of making content, you should really be making content. There is nothing quite like being able to create content like this. It can't compare to your own website. It can't compare to business cards, billboards, newspaper ads. All of these forms of advertising is becoming old hat. You need to really be on social media, in my humble opinion. Even if you don't have anything to sell, you don't really have a business, you still need to have it just in case. It's very important, especially if you've been a consumer, a viewer for many years. You probably understand the basics. And this is something I've always been trying to get people to do. Don't just be a viewer, don't just consume. Bring out your own point of view, make a channel. The reason why many people won't talk about this, especially the big channels, is because really they don't want the competition. A lot of people come into YouTube straight into the business angle. YouTube becomes their prime income. So they really don't want others to grow. And what a lot of bigger content creators do is they steal a lot of ideas from smaller channels, don't give any credit, pretend like it was all their ideas from the beginning, and then they run away with the accolades and the reward. I don't complain about that. It is what it is. That's just business at the end of the day. But that's why the bigger guys won't say you should come on YouTube. So let's see if there's any more vital information. Let's get right to it. In 2022, 10.1 million YouTube channels have at least 1,000 subscribers. All successful YouTubers have one thing in common. They all started with less than 1,000 subscribers. The exact percentage of YouTube channels with over 1,000 subscribers is 8.86, as we mentioned earlier. This means if you want to be successful, you need to be willing to put in the hard work, but it also means you have the ability to be in the top 10% of all channels. So really anyone over 1,000K is, 1K is someone who's going to be heard, to be honest. And these days, YouTube is becoming so much more competitive. People will look at something like 100, 200 views and think, that's nothing. But in this day and age, YouTube is very competitive. If you get just, over 50 views, that is something to applaud. Back in the day, I'd say I made my channel about 2018. It was so easy to just get views. And back then I had no knowledge. So my titles were random, my thumbnails were just probably copy and paste, random stuff that I found on Google. But you get thousands of views back then, just like that. But right now there's a lot of barriers to entry that makes it just a bit more difficult. So the point is that, I mean, speaking about my channel, you know, I've made a few mistakes in the past, namely, in fact, I'll get into that right away. First of all, just a quick update on stuff that is happening. Become a member of the channel. If you want access to the Discord to enhance the conversations that you have in the comment section, for $2.99, you can have access to the private Discord, become a member of the channel. You get many other perks as well. I'm in the final stages of creating an ebook that I really believe will help a lot of Black British people in terms of, again, me distilling information in various aspects of life, whether it's career to mentality, stuff around self-improvement. I really think it's going to help many people. This will be free for you if you're a member as well. Okay, so consider that if you can. Also, if you're a member on the Discord, you are able to vote for what I stream. So the future streams, I will put in options for you in the Discord, so you can choose which ones I do. So this gives you some level of control as to what you might want to hear on the channel, on the streams. Okay, so consider that. And finally, of course, if you like this type of content, like the stream, because liking the video helps. And if you're new, subscribe so you don't miss out new videos. These days, I am on a content drive. My last video was titled "Why Black Men Should Get Their Hair Cut in 2025." And I've made a similar video like that in the past. And I can see already there's a lot of people just crashing out. A lot of people get emotional over such a basic topic. It's a shame to see, but like I said in the video, it's to be expected. And I think this is because a lot of guys, unfortunately, a lot of Black guys have this quote unquote liberal mindset, which is basically, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. I know what's best. I can do whatever I want to do. I don't like advice. It's just, I'm going to make a video on that as well, because it kind of bleeds into the whole female nature aspect and why many guys are having issues in this area as well. Okay, so it's quite deep for me, in my opinion. So let's get into it. 20 things that I've learned as a content creator. Before that, let me just salute everyone in the building. I know it's late, apologies. Again, I'm going to look for a better time to do these. Okay, salute to Alert Stillness in the building, member gang in the building. He says you've done better than most, and the scene at the moment doesn't really reward your content, even if you're consistent. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Consistency is key, But I think for me, I enjoy the process, to be honest. I enjoy the process, and I think you need to enjoy it at a base level for you to keep going. I like making content. Sometimes I wake up with an idea in my head, then I put that into a video, I edit it, and I put the final product. It's very rewarding. Very, very rewarding to see an idea materialize into something real that can possibly positively affect someone. It's kind of a privilege, to be honest. It's a privilege. Appreciate you, Alert Stillness. Senator of Truth in the building. Check out Senator of Truth, another UK content creator from back in the day. He says, I'll be listening. I appreciate that. I know it's late again, so again, forgive me. I'm going to make a better time slot in the future. We've got a special guest as well in the building, Yorkshire MGTOW in the building. Check out his content, although if you're of the faint of heart, probably not. He makes great animations. You should check it out. Good to see you in the building. He says you didn't fail, mate. You produced some remarkable and innovative content. I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that. And that's really what I've aimed to do. I've tried to be unique and, of course, have unique perspectives on things that many others just kind of lean into. I think what's most important, we can agree to disagree on many things, but what's most important is that people have their own opinions and people are not mind controlled, manipulated into thinking in a certain way. you know. And that's why it's funny when people crash out when I ask or just simply say black people should consider trimming their hair and look a bit more conservative in a situation where they don't have much of an industry, you know. Instead of crashing out, just take it as food for thought. You know, it's just a video. You didn't have to watch the video. You didn't have to, you know. But the fact that people get emotionally affected by a video, it just shows you that you're probably doing something good. So good to see you, Yorkshire, in the building. Classic content. So let me get into it. This might be a long drawn out stream, and I'm not going to put banners up. I know that's being lazy. Actually, I might just put a numeric banner up, okay, for where I go. But I will do a timestamp so you can easily come back to this stream if you want any sort of assistance and help. My advice when it comes to content creation. Okay, let's see. So number one, again, this is 20 things I've learned from doing YouTube. Number one, if you want to be successful on YouTube, don't talk about racial issues. That's number one. If you want to be successful on YouTube, don't talk about racial issues. And the reason is, like I said, like I just said, a lot of people are ready to crash out over racial issues. And to be fair, it's on all sides, whether you're black or white. A lot of people, racial issues is it's just a very sensitive issue for them. And it's not worth making content over it. You know, it's not worth it because to some degree, although yes, it's important to speak your mind, to some degree, you still need to cultivate your audience. You still need to kind of, not completely, but you do need to kind of pander to your audience in a way that you understand, especially when they support you properly. You know, I don't know, they might want to super chat, they might want to, you know, they really mess with you heavy. You kind of have to take their points of view and thoughts in consideration. But what I find is when you speak about race, it's just the racial topic is just so divisive. People have their own points of view, and you're never going to agree with anyone. And I think that is a topic to stay away from. It just makes people too sensitive. There's lots of tribalized mentality. You know, you could, I don't know, probably say a simple thing like, oh, you like Trump. You know, you like Trump for a certain reason, and you've lost like probably 50% of your audience. 50% of your audience become your ops because you have a political view that is different from theirs. And I think in my community, unfortunately, it highlights a lack of conflict management. You know, again, so people will crash out and people will get emotional and abusive if you just simply suggest that maybe you should smarten up a little bit. Unfortunately, this is where we're at. And I can't blame people, you know, because YouTube is a good place, or social media in general is a good place where people undercover in an avatar can just come out and just say what they want. You know, but unfortunately, that won't get you far if it means you get blocked as a viewer and you really actually want to support and watch the content and contribute. But I would say, yeah, in general, stay away from racial issues, man. It's not worth it. You're gonna get a lot of pushback. Your own people might just come on you and pause. But your own people might just come at you, pause. Damn, what's going on tonight, man? Your own people might just ridicule you for your points of view. You know, I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. I've always played around with the idea of making something dumb like a Pokemon-based channel, and that's probably more fruitful than talking about race. Making a little video game channel is probably much more fruitful and beneficial and you'll bring in a crowd that is just supportive and, you know, surrounding that video game. It's a much more rewarding or enticing subject than talking about race. It's going to be an uphill battle talking about this stuff. Okay. Number two, in fact, you know, the banners are hard. The banners are hard work. So I promise I'm going to put timestamps for anyone that comes and views this stream afterwards. Okay. Number two, choose the right niche and don't change it. So this is one of my biggest mistakes. I think at the beginning, I made this channel. I didn't even think about the business aspect. I didn't think about making money. Obviously, it was there because at the time when I joined YouTube, super chats were available. So it was enticing, but at the core of it, just like today, it wasn't about becoming a full-time quote unquote YouTuber, but it was about expressing information that I think is vital. And I think we probably don't have these discussions in public, or people shy away from speaking about stuff like this. So for me, it's really about unearthing a lot of deeper issues or stuff that people hold as secrets, you know. But the problem with changing niches is that it confuses the audience, and it confuses the YouTube algorithm, you know. It's like, imagine McDonald's all of a sudden just changes its brand, its coloring, you know, changes the products that they sell. It's very confusing and disorientating for a lot of people. So, you know, a few months ago, my channel name, for example, was Introvert Maxim. I still back that idea. I think introversion, again, is something that overrides and transcends race, gender. So on paper, that is a better idea than just sticking with talking about, I don't know, Black British based content, for example. But essentially, in doing that, I've mixed my my datum in terms of the videos, the audience, the algorithm. So it just confuses and trips up a lot of people and the system. So I think in that case, if that's you, you need to just make a new channel if you want to move away from what you've originally started your channel with. Number three. And this is a funny one. Black British people won't support you. It's funny, man. Black British people won't support you. And I don't mean to say it in how you might think it. But what I'm trying to say is, if you make content for a small demographic like Black Brits, firstly, we're such a small group, but we're also a very divided group. You know, we're not like, for example, Black Americans. Black Americans pretty much identify in the same way, or, you know, in the same kind of culture. But the thing with Black Brits, you have to understand, is that we come from either the African continent or the Caribbean, and within those areas we have different nationalities. So essentially we have different subgroups of what is a Black Brit. So we're not really ever going to get along or have the same points of view on ideas on how to navigate things, right? So it's going to be really hard to use such a group to grow, you know. And you might also have to consider a small demographic. How many of them are going to be on YouTube? You know, so if you want to make a business out of content creation, how many, if you tailor to a small demographic, how many people are really going to gravitate to you? I'm not saying there aren't channels that have a large audience, but I'm just saying it's going to be harder, and you probably have to be on point. You know, your articulation, your vernacular, your presentation has to be on point, and you have to take it seriously. Senator of Truth said he made a video about this. Yeah, I mean, I know what video you're talking about. And yeah, I made a video back in the day about why Black British YouTubers fail. And to some degree, even with content creators, there's a lot of division, and there's a lot of backbiting. There's a lot of passive aggressiveness, a lot of beefing, which is something I'm going to get into as well. You know, and again, there's no point for that. There's no point in doing that. I've always expressed collaboration. Oh, let's form a group. Let's have a team. I've never ever had a beef video. You know, I've never. I just don't see the point, to be honest. I don't see the point. I don't see how people can sit down, make a thumbnail with someone else's face in it, and waste time just derailing a person. It's not mature. It doesn't add to anything. It's not content worth watching. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. Number 4, use AI. Use AI to help your content. And I know a lot of people are against AI. And it's shocking to me because I think if you can manipulate AI, you're gonna be doing well, not just on YouTube, but in general. So for example, how you can use AI for your channel. You know, the video datum, the descriptions and stuff like that, the tags, the hashtags is an important way these are important data for YouTube to place your videos in the algorithm, right? But you can use AI to, for example, make a 200, 300 word description with regards to what your video is going to be about. Rather than you typing it out, you can save time by just using AI. Or timestamps, for example. I'm going to make timestamps for this stream because I know it's going to be long and you might want to come to bits and pieces, but I'm not going to sit through the whole video, or I'm not going to mark out when I say this and when I say that. I'm going to use AI to read the video and give me timestamps, or even title options for your titles, keywords that you're going to place in your videos. AI is really necessary. Like, these are the things that you're going to waste your time doing manually. It's literally manual labor. A good AI that I recommend, I've got a Google phone, and Google has a great AI called Gemini. You can literally have a conversation with this AI. I know that's probably scaring a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys don't like that, but it's very informative, and it will just give you more ideas, and it will just give you a head start above people that don't use AI. So definitely use AI. It will help you out a lot. Number 5, and salute to any newcomers in the building. Conscious moron in the building. He says, "What up from the States? Salute to you. Good to see you in the building. Salute to everyone else. Who else am I missing? Herbal Mist in the building. Good to see you in the building." He says, "Where's the new Discord?" The Discord is there, but it's for channel members. So I've learned, this is probably a past mistake, but I've learned the importance of having members or membership where people are willing to put down a bit of change, because it kind of weeds out the trolls and the people that just aren't here for any good purpose but to, to troll, be a clown, etc. So if you want to hit the Discord, become a channel member. Salute to you though. Salute to Shari in the building. He says AI is dangerous. In what way? Let me know. In what way is AI dangerous in your opinion? Number 5. This is an important one. Be prepared to lose friends, jobs, and relationships over your YouTube content, okay? Be prepared to lose your friends, like real world friends. And I think this is very important if you are making controversial content. For example, female nature, or you're talking about your personal relationships on the internet and stuff like that. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is that many of these social medias are connecting to your contacts in your phone. So even if you don't share your links to people in the real world, it's very likely that people in your contacts can see your social media anyway. You know, you're going to be recommended to them most likely. I've heard that on Androids, this is very much more the case, but I don't know. But I just know that it's a thing. So if you really have to come out and say very controversial stuff, very kind of crude stuff that you know will rub people the wrong way, if you're not prepared to lose friends over it, your jobs, your girlfriend, etc., I would say consider doing that. Reconsider doing it. Especially again, talking about relationship stuff. And I think a lot of people that speak about relationships candidly, they don't share the fact that going forward, they find it very hard to get into new relationships. Because while they might be bashing their exes and stuff like that, any new prospective partners, quote unquote, are going to see that content and that might just put them off. You're bashing your ex and they just see your content and just, do I really want to be exposed on the internet? It's yeah, you're gonna also your job as well. If you access YouTube on your work's Wi-Fi, you do know that they can see everything that you're viewing, even through your phone. You have to understand that company Wi-Fi is their property. If you use it, you risk them viewing your private stuff. It's a real thing. If you don't believe me, speak to your IT team. If you're close to them, speak to them and they will tell you. Okay, so be prepared to lose friends over content. That choice is up to you. Is it worth it? That's really up to you to decide. Senate of Truth says, yeah, and the moaners, yeah, the Discord takes away the moaners, the black pillars, the people that are just, glass half empty, ninjas, keeps them out because it becomes very depressive to have these people around, the Debbie Downers, And Senate of Truth says TikTok, especially, yeah, TikTok. I know Instagram is definitely like that. It's recommending contacts to view your page. If you have a public page and you're doing certain content, just be prepared that people are going to view it in your real world. Okay. Number six, microphone and camera is a must. Obviously, this is a no-brainer, but I'm shocked by how many people still come to YouTube with just their phone. And to be fair, a phone has good cameras typically and probably good microphones, but you need to invest in equipment that are specialized for that job, and especially equipment that is for your niche. So, for example, in various channels that I've had, and probably this channel, I do a lot of outdoor videos where I like to walk or be active, do something. So typically in the past, I've had a lot of 360-degree cameras, so cameras that I can just hold out and it can see everything, right? So that could be like a GoPro as well, like an action-based camera. Microphones, I typically use wireless microphones, so it gives me that freedom without the cord. In the studio at home, I would have the big shows, the big Rode mics if I need it. But in general, it's just important to invest in what you're doing because the quality matters. The YouTube experts say that audio matters the most. People can tolerate bad video here and there, but the audio's most important. So if you can't invest in both right now, definitely invest in a good microphone. Back in the day, back in the day was probably about 2019, 2020. The hot microphone on the streets was that Blue Yeti. Who knows about the Blue Yeti microphone? It's a pretty trash, tinny microphone, but it was everyone's go-to mic. So definitely get a microphone and a camera. 7, cam up. Cam up. Cam the F up. To be honest with you, nah, you don't have to. You don't have to. There are ways where if you want to make content without showing your face, you can do it. But I think in doing that, you are going to sacrifice people appreciating you on a deeper level, or people, connecting with you on a far greater level. But I do believe that, hey, you can get away with not coming up. People, trust me, we've seen people do it great in the past. They've never had to come up. They've just used avatars, right? Salute to Jessica X, wherever she is. Jessica X did it well. But I would argue that, hey, she was a woman, and for her niche, there was a lot of thirsty guys that just wanted to hear a woman speak about topics they already know of her from other guys, right? So in general, for guys, it might not be as easy. But yeah, I do agree that you don't really have to cam up if you don't want to. I understand, if you want to keep it private, that's good. I'm against making everything public, to be honest, putting everything on the camera. But I just think you're going to sacrifice an audience, especially if you might want to progress into meetups and stuff like that. But I think most importantly, what I found, because there was a time when I wasn't camming up, and probably this last year is a bad example of that. But there was a time when I wasn't camming up, and it was really because it took away the effort for editing. But what that did was also take away a lot of creativity. It will stop me from doing things on the camera, and obviously a big pillar of my content was the fact that I'm a black belt. So I wanted to show some sort of martial arts on screen. How can I do that without being on camera? We can't just speak about it. And me, I don't believe I'm a very articulate person, to be honest. The words don't slide off the tongue. But my thing has always been about showing rather than just telling. I would rather show you rather than tell you. So, for example, when I moved homes, when I moved into that penthouse flat, I would rather show you rather than just sit down and tell you the story. I think that's probably my strength. I like to show you rather than tell you. But hey, I think coming up is a very personal issue. I don't really mind, to be honest. I think that's up to you. If you're in the building, please hit the like. Show us that you're in the building. Comment, say something, contribute. If you come after it's live, look in the description below or the first message, and I'll give you some timestamps so you can jump to areas that I've hit. Senate of Truth says, I don't show my face due to digital footprint. Yeah, that is true. The sort of social credit or digital footprint is real. People can see where you've been going, But I also think that me, for example, I might say something controversial, or even I might just say something that is not controversial, but someone who's sensitive might take it to be controversial. But I'm willing to just say it regardless. If people don't mess with me in real life over my faults, I think that's good riddance, in my opinion. I think you get to a point, maybe it's an age thing, where it's like you're too old to be hiding or, no. But again, you have to be in a certain position to be able to do that, So it's a balancing act. Yep, always invest in mics, absolutely. I think when people take it as a business, take YouTube as a business, you will naturally want to invest in certain things. And I think, again, it's you enjoy it if you treat it like such, But if you treat it like something, a dirty little habit that you do every now and then, you won't really feel it. And I think the audience won't really connect as well, because it's like you're just doing it on a whim. There is no structure, Excuse the sniffles. I'm a bit under the weather. I've got the flu over the weekend. So excuse the sniffles if it's being picked up being picked up in the mic. Number eight, and in relation to what Senate of Truth said in the chat, number 8, the red pill is a death trap. This is something I've learned. The red pill is a death trap. Okay, the algorithm doesn't want to hear all that talk about female nature and men going their own way. And this is why you are seeing a decline in this type of content. And this is why a lot of people are getting booted off the platform. Whether you like it or not, this is someone else's platform, and you have to abide by the rules that are set. These topics just simply aren't ad friendly. And if you really want to talk about this stuff, you can, but you just, again, it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to probably curtail your motivation to keep going. But I also think that speaking about these subjects, and this is something that I've learned over years, is that, and I don't want to tread on anyone's toes, but you bring in a very negative and discontented audience. And this is something that I've mentioned years and years ago. I've frankly just said, look, if you believe in a certain thing, or if you just want to listen or come here for just hearing about relationships of human nature, unsubscribe. Because a lot of these people are with a level of angst that, in my opinion, it's just not very productive. People just stewing, bitter, and the comments that come out of them just negative. It's just, you have to ask yourself if it's worth it. I value a audience that is critical, that can think for themselves, that don't just talk in slogans or take other people's talking points, people who have experienced things in their own lives. You're not listening to some coach and taking on their agenda or their image. It's very important. Sometimes, or some things are just meant to be only spoken about in private. Not everything has to be public. Speaking about your intimate life doesn't have to be public. Speaking about your breakup and what happened to you, it doesn't have to be public. And this is another point I'm going to jump on, is making your private life public. But yeah, the RP is just a death trap. Really, to keep that content going, you have to be in a certain mind frame on a permanent basis, meaning that you have to be in that red pill rage, you have to be bitter. That's the audience that will gravitate towards you. But I think at some point, especially if you're a person that is growing as an individual, you're going to see at some point that your audience is stuck in a certain mindset when you have elevated, and it's just going to cause a mishmash between the content that you want to discuss and your audience. So definitely the RP is a death trap. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Salute to Red Sings the Blues in the building. Good to see you here. Long time no see. Hope your other channel's doing well as well. He says, I learned you better pivot and learn quick. The algorithm changed drastically. I agree. Absolutely. There's always a new meta, a new style that the algorithm prefers. And that's something that I need to learn as well. Yeah, it's a real thing. Senate of Truth says, people who say they understand women but don't have a girlfriend or wife. Uh-oh. That's a very real thing. And the thing is, I find that a lot of people don't even care. They don't seem to care about that. And this speaks to a mindset that is just on autopilot. They just want to talk about women, regardless of whether the people they're listening to has a level of experience that they need. You know, people talking about female nature, but I've never really seen them have or discuss a real long-term relationship. You know, I've never understood that. Or people who have views on how to raise kids, for example, but don't have kids. You know, it becomes stupid at some point, especially when you progress in your own personal life and you reach certain plateaus. You look back and you think, why are you giving advice on things that you haven't experienced in life? All that is theory, you know. Number 9, buy a book. So this is a no-brainer, a bit of advice, but it's something that I see that a lot of people still don't do. There are many ebooks, audio books, real books that will tell you the basics about YouTube, about things like the algorithm, the importance of thumbnails, titles, tags, and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm not perfect at all of that. I'm a noob. But the point is that you have to have a basic understanding of these things if you want to, especially if you want to take it seriously. You know, I think a lot of people bask in ignorance and a lot of people are hard-headed. I remember, and I don't want to expose anyone, I remember one content creator who I liked and who supported me. He came to me one time and said, "Hey man, Falcon, I'm losing motivation. What do you think I should do?" I gave him my advice. And the next time he uploaded video, he didn't take my advice. You know, it's like, what do you expect type of thing, you know? So definitely we get a book on the basics, but beyond the book, definitely check out YouTubers. There are many YouTubers out here trying to encourage you and improve your YouTube output. So one I definitely recommend is Roberto Blake. Shout out to Roberto Blake. He actually commented on an old video back in the day when I bigged him up back then, but he's a good guy and he's got a lot of good intel with regards to YouTube and making content. So check out Roberto Blake. He often does a lot of video reviews as well. So pay him a little fee and he'll review your channel and give you some points on how you can improve. Okay, and it's very transparent, very blunt with his information. I think that's very valuable. Okay. Number 10, don't collab with nothing to offer. This is a rule. A lot of people say, oh, collabs is the key to getting more subscribers. And while I believe that might be true, I think at the end of the day, it's your own content that matters the most. If your content is not really appealing, it doesn't appeal to a certain group or a niche, you can collab with so many people, but they won't really latch onto your stuff. So I've always favored an organic growth. You know, a lot of people were doing reaction videos or especially with Fresh and Fit's content, for example, or Kevin Samuels' content, doing stuff, talking about their videos. But while it might have helped them grow, sure, I think a natural growth is much more important. You tend to get an audience that stick by for a long time. They don't just bounce, or they don't bounce when you have a different opinion than them. You know, they tend to appreciate your work and they stick around and they're kind of invested because they've seen you for years, right? But I think also, for example, some people have asked me to collab with YouTubers that are much bigger than myself. And I just think that if I did that, what do I have to offer the bigger YouTuber? You know, what do I have to offer them? And, you know, it's not a fair exchange. And it's kind of me taking the piss, to be honest, if I begged one of my YouTube friends who have like 100 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers to, oh, please give me a collab. Now I can't, you know, that's why, you know. So if you have nothing to offer, don't collab. I think if I was to collab with a bigger YouTuber, I'll just pay them up front. You know, I'll just say, look, take these notes, let's do a collab, if I really found it to be that serious. You know, so that's 10 so far. Let me run through them. Don't talk about racial issues, choose the right niche and don't change it. Black British people won't support, use AI, be prepared to lose friends and jobs and girlfriends, invest in a microphone and camera, come on camera is preferred, the red pill is a death trap, buy books and learn, and don't collab with nothing to offer. What do you guys think so far? I know it's kind of a long drawn out stream. Let me see if I've got some music for you. You know, I like to entertain my guests in the building. Let's see if I've got some nice little background music for you. Let's see. Let me see if there's some, yeah, I know. Some nice little lift music, elevator music. Let's have a little 5-minute break and let's catch up with what you're saying in the chat. Sharian in the building says, life is all a joy, nothing is guaranteed or promised. Absolutely. But I'm curious, Sharian, why do you say AI is dangerous? Let us know why AI is dangerous. Let's see what you're saying in the build, in the chat, in the comments. Silence Roof says, Roberta Blake video got my old YouTube channel monetized, but I deleted it. I've always wondered, man, why did you delete the channel? Deleting, I really don't recommend deleting the channel. I mean, hide the channel, but deleting it just takes away all your old work. And that's another point that I probably didn't put up. But deleting videos, which is something that I've done a lot, is not a good idea, because what I found out is that the views are linked to those videos. So when you delete videos, you're essentially deleting overall views from your channel. So if you were a channel that had 1 million views and you delete a video that had 250,000 views, you're gonna be a viewer. Your channel's gonna have 750,000 views, basically. You know, and I think that has a big impact, because what I've noticed as well is that the higher views your channel gets, it's as if YouTube opens up gates for more viewers to see your channel. You know, it's kind of weird, because I've done some tests where I've uploaded the same video on other channels that had tens of subscribers, but it doesn't get the same amount of views, even with the same title, same thumbnail, same datum in the description and stuff like that. You know, it's very mysterious. But at the same time, you know, I understand why you delete. Because, for example, remember I had those Passport Bro inspired videos, and I always looked at them with shame, because I didn't want my channel to be about that. But at some point I succumbed, because that's what a lot of people wanted to see, you know. And I was right, because my biggest videos were of that nature. My biggest videos were Passport Bro inspired videos. So in some ways, you kind of have to also follow the algorithm, what your audience wants. But I'm just not for making videos like that. So I get it why you need to delete. Is the elevator music okay? Not too loud? Billy the Goat in the building, man. Good to see you, bro. He says, what's up, Falcon? Salute to Billy the Goat, another content creator in the house. Senator Chief says it's a good list, so I appreciate that. We're going to go into the next 10 in a bit. End Boss in the building says, had a coworker like a pic on Instagram but unliked. I figured it was accidental, but wondered how they found the page. Turned out it was recommended to my contacts. Exactly what I'm saying. These social media platforms are eavesdropping on your contacts in your phone. So even if you want it to be private, people in your contact list can see your social media, or you should assume that they can see it. So even if you're a member of, I don't know, a private group on something like Facebook, and the title of that group is kind of lewd, crude, I recommend you if you want to keep your privacy, you leave that group. Because just assume that people, your friends and family, are watching your content. That's the best way to deal with it. Or your friends and family can see what you're liking and stuff. Just assume that. I remember something funny years ago when I was using Instagram. I remember at some point, what you like on Instagram, all your connections can see. Some people didn't know, some of the old heads didn't know that. So they were liking all the foul stuff, all the the 304 stuff, to their embarrassment. I think that happened to Samuel Jackson. I think that happened to him. He liked someone's crude video on Twitter, I think, and everyone can see. And we can all see that he's married, old guy. It's mad. But I think, yeah, like Center of Truth talks about the digital footprint. I think social media, the online world, is no longer a private thing. So you should assume people can see what you're doing. And I think, to be honest, that's a good thing, because it means people will be, a lot of people use the internet for their dark, seedy secrets. But with that visibility, people can keep it 100. If people I know in real life watch my content and they disagree with it, I will just tell them straight up, look, I don't care if you disagree with it. We can talk about it, but as a man, I'm entitled to my own point of view. If you don't like it, we can cut ties. I don't mind. I don't think I've really ever made content that's that crazy. I think a lot of my content is fairly reasonable. Yeah. But let's continue. Probably another thing that I haven't suggested in my little list is that I'm using StreamYard right now, and I recommend you buy a version of StreamYard or any streaming platform, because you get options that are just much more professional, which just make sure your channel will just look better, right? You got some people on StreamYard who use StreamYard, and they have this up. Look at the screen. You know about this if you're on StreamYard. Who knows what it means if you got this duck on StreamYard? Who knows what it means if you got this duck up on StreamYard? It's funny. But hey, if you buy the premium version, you can put up your own brand. You don't have to use default stuff. So consider buying, paying, putting money where, putting your money up. You have to put your money up for it. Yeah, exactly. If you got the duck on your screen, that means you haven't paid for it. You're using the freemium version, which is, hey, it's fine if that's where you're at. It's not to laugh at smaller creators, but I think consider paying for it. And I think it's relatively cheap. I don't know if it starts from about $5.99 or something, to give you some better personalized options and stuff like that. Billy the Goat says, call it market research when you like someone's booty pic. Appreciate that. So, truth. Okay, let's get into the next bit of what I learned as a failed quote-unquote Black British YouTuber. Number 11, don't live stream until you have 1,000 subs. Don't live stream until you have 1,000 subs. And again, if you're doing YouTube just to do it, you don't really care so much about growth and the monetary value that you might get, that's cool. Okay, because I know a lot of people just like to live stream it. It saves time from editing and preparing stuff. But the thing is obviously or maybe you don't know this, but new subscribers don't really take to live streams. A live stream to a potential subscriber is very daunting because it's like hours long worth of information and they don't even know you. You know, they don't even know what you're about. They don't know your opinions. And it's going to be hard for a new subscriber to really sit down and watch your stuff unless you've proven yourself in some way or form. And you can see this in the YouTube studio. When you look at your analytics, you can see that live streams really have low viewership. Obviously, there's some people that have over gone above this rule. I think notably people like Kevin Samuels. But but obviously that also came at a time when a lot of people were at home too, right? When a lot of people were indoors and they couldn't really, their viewing patterns really changed significantly. But I think in general, if you want to grow, and I recommend all smaller YouTubers to at least want to attain 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, so you can at least start to get money off of this, because YouTube is definitely making money off of your content, even if you're not monetized. They're putting ads on your video. Don't live stream. Do small videos. You know, focus on short, concise videos, straight to the point. Doesn't have to be super fancy. Just you know, hard hitting videos. You don't even need a good intro or outro. You know, just hard hitting videos, in my opinion. And I think shorts will also help with that. But shorts is a bit funny because the audience you gain from shorts don't reflect on your main videos. And looking back, I think shorts are not a good option for growth. You know, I think that's a shortcut that doesn't really work, and I think it was quite experimental. So I think stick to regular videos. Just have a regular upload schedule, at least once a week, in my opinion. Keep you afloat and just keep going. You know, so Billy the Go asked a good question. He says, "How long did it take you to get to your 1,000 subs?" That's a great question, man. And really, back in the day, this was like 2018. I think the algorithm back then was easier, right? It was more accepting of newer content creators. But I was just making random videos, to be honest. Obviously, my videos were generally thought out, but the quality was probably trash. Thumbnail was probably trash. Titles probably random. I didn't use no SEO, no optimization, just random stuff. But what I found was that as long as you're posting regularly, you're still going to get an audience. Even if you get an audience that doesn't like, that dislikes, you know, before the dislike ratio was visible, you still get an audience. You know, my first video that I made was actually trolling men going their own way, because I just think that it was a lot of guys just crying and never really ever reflecting on their own flaws, you know, never introspecting, just blaming the world for their problems. Right, and that got a lot of dislikes, but it also got a lot of traction. So I think it took me about, I would say, about a year to get 1,000 subs. It took me a year to get 1,000 subs, and anyone who's an OG sub remembers that I was doing quite sporadic and random stuff. I think self-improvement in general as a niche is probably a bit too random, to be honest. It's probably too open as a niche to focus on, because you can be talking from anything. You can be talking about anything from meditation, I don't know, to cold showers, martial arts. You know, it's so broad that I think the algorithm just prefers you niche down heavy on a particular subject, and that's why I've always bigged up my man Senator of Truth with his autism content, because that's niche down, and I think it's very relevant to a lot of people. You know, so yeah, it took me about a year to get 1,000 subs, but I think it took me longer to get the 4,000 watch count. So it was after I did the 1,000 subs, and I think it was around actually 2020 when I started doing live streams. I don't know, something about live streams I didn't like. It was just a bit too unhinged. I kind of like to be in control of the content, but around 2020, when we were all in lockdown is when I started doing live streams. And I think that also opened up the floodgates a bit to, but I think most importantly, it just made my content more varied, right? It gave my channel a bit more, a different dynamic. Then I started doing call-in shows years after that, and I think that's where I got most of my growth. I hope that answered the question. I'm kind of long-winded tonight, but it's one of those days. But yeah, it probably took me about a year to get 1,000 subs, but that was with no live streams. Within that time, I did no live streams, just normal videos that are typically under 10 minutes. Great question, though. I appreciate that. Enbo says, will you ever go back to basketball content? I remember when you riled up the Ethiopian stuff. That was classic, man. That was classic. Again, to be honest, I really, and you might not believe me, but I really despise those type of videos. And it saddens me that it was those type of videos that were the most popular, because it just meant that that was what my channel was about. And, I wanted to lean into those videos because it was obvious that those were popular and people just wanted to see more and more of those type of videos. So for those who might be new, those type of videos were basically me expressing how different types of women might relate with Black men, and so that kind of hit the Passport Bro algorithm. And to be honest, that type of content is very open because you can pretty much go around the world and say any old thing. You probably don't even have to have the experience. You can just say whatever comes to your mind, maybe use some AI to do some trickery. But no, I'm just totally against making content that is dedicated to that. It's just, to me, it's just cringy to me, man. It's cringy. Let's see. I like having you guys in the chat, man, because especially the old school viewers. It's like going back into memory lane. Billy the Goat says, a funny thing happened to me and my kid. I was showing her what a straitjacket is, and BDSM stuff popped up. Whoops! Oh no! That's messed up, man. Damn. Straitjacket. Yeah, Senate of Truth says those live streams was lit during the lockdown. They helped a lot, absolutely. And back then, I did live streams that was simply like asking how the audience is doing. Since most people were locked indoors, it just makes sense that a lot of people were in. But 2020 was like a golden age for live streams. That's when many of us were popping out doing live streams. Many Black British people doing live streams. Over in America, you got the Kevin Samuels, etc., doing live streams. It was really a golden age for live streams. It was good to see, to be honest, because that's when you get different characters, like we mentioned, the Jessica X's. You get all these different characters coming out, and I think that's the most important thing, is that there's a flow of content that people can jump on, off, people can respond to, people can work with people. A lot of engagement, and it really just helps everyone. Ideas develop and evolve. Number 12, have an upload schedule. So again, speaking about when I grew, there was a point when I was just stagnated at 2K subs. Well, I don't know how this can happen, but I think many channels experience this. Your sub count never goes up. And so what I did at that point is I kind of changed course in terms of content, and I decided to start doing the Black and British live streams. Who remembers the Black and British live streams? Like probably 2 years ago now. So I dedicated 2 days, just 2 days to stream. And it was a constant schedule. Obviously, the color people time. Unfortunately, I can't always make 10 o'clock on the dot. But the fact that it was a regular stream, the audience were prepared for it, right? And so through those streams, you get a lot of different characters popping up as well. You know, a lot of people in the audience, a lot of usual faces, familiar faces coming up. So after doing that for about a year, that's when I probably grew by even 2K more. You know, talking about a lot of trending issues, but also evergreen issues, you know, evergreen content, meaning content that people are generally always going to search for. You know, that's why I've done content like maybe black men should cut their hair, because this is content that people are always going to be looking for. You know, I don't think I've actually brought that up, but evergreen content is also a good way to grow your channel. So making content that forms like the backbone of your channel is good for the growth. I was just watching my mic; the batteries are going down. Oh, I'm sure we'll be okay. We'll be okay. So yeah, I think definitely have an upload schedule, have a live stream schedule, and stick to it. Days that you're gonna upload or live stream, stick to it. I've also learned something else, that if you make a video, if you keep it, if you schedule it for the future, say like a day later, that the algorithm has a good amount of time to understand what your video is about, what audience your video should go to, as opposed to just making a video as soon as you finish it, upload it immediately, which is, you know, a mistake that I've done often. But just schedule it for the future, right? And in that way, you can also spread out your content rather than kind of operating scarcity when you've kind of done a lot, but there's a time when you're, you know, when you're in a low in terms of your content. So I definitely recommend an upload schedule. Boss says, I like the COVID year. Wish it never ended. I miss wearing ski masks and it's new. I know there's a lot of people like that. A lot of people loved it, man. I think a lot of people are still trying to mimic it. A lot of people still want to wear their mask, and I get it. I get it. I understand. But I think for me, yeah, those years were a good time to kind of reset, reflect as well on certain things. Yeah, despite the tragedy and people losing their lives, it was a good time to reflect on things, man. One once in a lifetime opportunity to do certain things as well. Billy the Goat says, "Yep, my channel has stagnated, but I haven't bothered to make content in ages." Yeah, I reckon if you ever wanted to reboot your channel, just like one video a week, I reckon it'll start going up. And I know you talk a lot about like mental health, you know, narcissism, and you know, narcissism content is kind of booming right now. You know, there's a lot of discussions on empathy, the narcissist. What else is there? I can't think of them now, but there's just a lot of discussion on those aspects, which I think might bode well with you if you want to go back up. Number 13, don't make beef content. Don't make beef content. Like I said earlier, beef is a short-term interest. People on the internet, you know, people tend to say, oh, the internet never forgets. But what I find is that actually the internet is very fickle, and the internet doesn't really care. To be honest, as long as you're entertaining, they don't care about your track record. They don't care if you're a hypocrite. They don't care if you live by what you're saying. You know, so a lot of these, for example, RP content creators, they say things like, "Oh, single mothers avoid, don't get married," but then we find out that actually they do the complete opposite. But people still mess with them. You know, as long as they make the content that people want, people still mess with them. So I think the internet is very fickle. But in terms of the beef, people forget the beef. It's just instant gratification, instant entertainment, but for your own content, it does nothing. You've thrown a spanner into your own algorithm by uh, being seduced by beef. And then these days now, you have the potential to get sued. You know, a lot of these people that do celebrity gossip type of videos, bruh, if these videos get into these celebrities' eyes, they are liable to start suing you. You know, when YouTube gets under this type of pressure, they're just likely to just terminate your, terminate your channel, terminate all your hard work. It's not worth it. You know, beef is not worth it. I think the best way to deal with beef or disagreement is to just make it into a teachable moment in terms of a video. You know, rather than make it personal, rather than to throw insults, just have it as a learnable, teachable moment where you can make content off of someone doing something wrong, if that makes sense. Number 14, don't expose your personal life. Another key point. Again, these days, it's like a vlog everything culture. And I think streamers like iShowSpeed, you know, he's leading a style of content where it's like 24/7 stream. I remember he was streaming a video game and he streamed a moment when he was sleeping. I think he was playing a game for 24 hours and his stream was still on as he was sleeping. And I just thought that was wild. And the chat was still going off. You know, people were still engaged. And I think that just promotes the 24/7 stream. And so people tend to want to voice personal things in a public forum. You know, and I think that's just going to come back to bite you in the bum. You know, there's many ops out here viewing you. I'm pretty sure right now, many people who don't like me are viewing me in silence, but they're still here. And many people are waiting to use a bad moment against you. You know, so I think definitely vulnerable people like kids, you don't want to bring them on stream. I don't know how some adults let their kids just come on stream and make channels. It's crazy. Knowing the dangers that are out there and the weirdos that are out there. But again, a lot of people talk about past relationships, expose exes. It's just doing too much, in my opinion. You know, it's doing too much. I remember, shout out to Hamza. I don't know if he's still around these days, but, Hamza is a popular self-improvement channel. But a lot of his audience were against him because, if I remember, he ended a relationship with someone who he promised he wanted to build a family with, but he had a change of heart, and then his audience just went on him or went against him. Stuff like that. It's like, do you really want to air your personal life like that? And also think of the other person, the other party, they're going to be affected by what you do. And the thing with content, if the content creator doesn't want to delete the content, it's going to be there for the foreseeable future. I think that's a bad look. And again, I think for those who might want relationships in the future, if you're dissing your ex, people don't want to, people in the future don't want to be a part of that. Oh, he's going to roast me if we split up. It's no good. Son of Truth says Hamza's a fighter doing fight content. Oh, really? I know he was doing the kickboxing stuff. Is that what he's doing, or was it boxing or jiu-jitsu? I don't remember. Number 14. No, sorry, I said number 14, which was don't expose your personal life. Number 15, make a personal brand. And obviously, this is no-brainer. Your brand is not just logos and colors and stuff like that, but it's also how you present yourself, Like, for example, me these days, and again, I'm not good at this because I've been flip-flopping here and there, but the one consistent thing with me is You know, it sounds a bit corny, but I have a fondness for falcons. Okay, there's something about that creature that I admire. So what's typically been consistent is my name, Falcon, right? And logos of the Falcon. Actually, my main Falcon logo is actually a tattoo that I have, the Falcon head. You know, and obviously that's a brand that stays consistent. And you know, small things like the Falcon cry at the beginning of my videos, that makes me or my videos much more recognizable. You know, a lot of YouTuber gurus tell you to have a slogan, you know, have a catchphrase, have something that sets you apart from the rest, you know. So for me, it's the Falcon, it's the Falcon cry. My color scheme is typically yellow. Sometimes it's yellow and purple, yellow and gray, or in the times of Introvert Maxim, it was like a lime green. But these things just highlight and make your content more distinct, you know. And again, it just makes it fun. When you have a brand, it makes it more business-like. It makes your content more focused. You know, you're not just doing things on the whim. You're not having random fonts here and there. You know what I mean? 1 second, guys. I just want to let me just change my mic. One. Test, test, test. Coming through okay? Hit one if the sound is good, please. This is another good thing about the wireless mic. So I'm using a Rode Wireless Pro. It comes with 2 mics. So I can just switch it whenever I need to, you know. I think it's coming through. Let me just check the settings. Yep, it should be good. So we back. So yeah, make it a personal brand. You know, Billy the Goat, for example. I love his logos and stuff because it's always going to be a goat. And I just always find that to be amusing, but again, it stands out. I remember Billy the Goat was creating products, if I remember correctly, with a 3D printer. You know, that logo is just very iconic, very well known. You know, stuff like that really, really makes the difference, in my opinion. It makes you stand out, you know. Number 16, don't let people use you for their own gain. Okay, don't let people use you for their own gain. And for example, nah, I don't wanna make anything personal, but just generally speaking, you know, you can find people if you're very inviting and you want people to jump on. There are a lot of people that don't understand give and take. So there's a lot of people that will just want to use your platform for their own promotion, and they don't understand, you know, again, the give and take nature of a transaction. For them, it's just, oh, help a brother out type of mentality. You know, promote my stuff. Uh, uh, put my put my links in your thing, please. Can I post my link? Why would you want to post your channel link in my chat when you don't really do much to support? Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't even have to say this. It should be known. I can't imagine going into someone's chat asking them to promote my channel when when I'm not really supporting like that. It's like a shame. Like people don't really have shame in that aspect. You know, that's why I always talk about offering your service. Even with business, the key for successful business that I found is make sure you are of service. Before you expect to receive something, you need to offer something. You know, understand what people need, and then naturally you'll get back what you what you desire, I find. I think that's just, again, an extension of that liberal mindset, quote unquote liberal, where it's more like take. That housing benefit mindset, that Section 8 benefit mindset, just offer no value, but just expect that you should be given things, for nothing. It's really a bad look, especially as men, to just want to sit there and expect to be given handouts while offering nothing. I'm gonna make a video about that. Actually, I was in a bubble bath the other day thinking about this, thinking about why particularly Black people are having a hard time forming relationships these days, and it's in relation to that. I'm gonna make a good video about it. I know I'm gonna get a lot of butthurt people, but I like that. I like to see the discourse and the discontent, but some things have to be said. Senate of Chew says Hamza did his ex dirty. I felt sorry for her. Yeah, from what I remember, I think she was like this homely type of person who just believed everything that he was saying. And Hamza had her all over the videos. It was just a bad look, man. Don't put your personal life on the internet like that. Such a bad look. And yeah, people complain, oh, modern women are trash, modern women, there are no good modern women. But look how a lot of us, quote unquote, modern men are going to treat, when we can, these women. This is another reason why it's hard to go into that content, because the reality is that it's never just one side's fault. And this is something it's hard for a lot of people to understand or to even want to deal with. It's not always one side's fault. So blame, but I'm perfect. Oh, she took everything. Never talking about your own shortcomings, your own mistakes in life. Just blame the crazy ex who you happen to stay with for umpteen years and give all these kids to, but you want to blame. It's weak, man. It's weak. Billy the Goat says, oh, his avatar does trigger some people saying it's the devil. Yeah, I can see that, but that's funny. That's funny. I can see the religious heads just crying over that, crashing up. Son of Truth says, yeah, when I talk to women when they was in bad relationship, I never hear what they did wrong. Yep, absolutely. And that's exactly, it's true on the other side as well. When someone, as a rule of thumb, when someone just says their ex was all bad and bad, you need to side-eye the person saying that. Because that's not the full picture, that's not the full story. If you're new to the stream, hit the like, please. If you like what you're hearing, subscribe if you're new. Check out the description below. I'm going to timestamp these points just so you can distill them for yourself and eat the meat, spit out the bones. Number 17, be prepared to be exposed. Okay, be prepared to be exposed. It's linked to the other point about private social media. But even if you're not on camera, it's funny, people have gotten doxxed. Doxxed mean that their personal life has been exposed. That can happen, especially with AI as well. It's very easy to, especially if you kind of live in a small or isolated location, it's very easy to track down people by voice. So again, if you can't afford to, for example, lose your job, in fact, if you're saying certain things and you have a normal job, right, you don't kind of have your own business, I would say don't do it at all. If you're talking about RP stuff, I would say don't do it at all. If you rely on that job, don't do it. It's not worth it. But many people, even in the audience, people have been exposed. I remember some guy did someone dirty. Some guy went into some guy's LinkedIn and just shared. It's so bad. They was using his LinkedIn profile photo as an avatar pic. So imagine you logging in to some social media and you're seeing your face in someone else's material. But besides that, they went into their whole LinkedIn and they just exposed everything that they do. Like, it's just a lot of mentally ill people are out here, and you should prepare for the worst. Don't assume your ops are not watching your stuff. They are. Don't assume everything's peachy and rosy. And this is why, talking about a niche, I recommend, especially now, especially where you see like things like RP and dating and relationship. It's just entry level content, because everyone has an opinion on dating. Anyone can just come with a camera and talk about how dating, for my generation, Gen Z or whoever, is bad. Everyone has an opinion on that. It's very entry level stuff. But now, because it's entry level stuff, it's getting very saturated. So I think now more than ever, the best thing to do is to just lean into either something that you do in your professional life or as a career or something creative, or just something just completely wholesome, man. Something far away from controversy, because there's no point, to be honest with you. Be exposed for, I don't know, collecting Pokemon plushies or streaming a video game or something like that. You don't want to be exposed saying some crude stuff that you might not truly 100% even believe in yourself. You're just saying it because you're in some emotional moment and you're just angry. It's not worth it. And this impacts people's future. It impacts people's future. People will dig this stuff out. If you're going to go for a prominent role in society, people will dig this out, find it out about you, and that might cost you that opportunity. Just because you said something off the cuff that you didn't really mean, it's not worth it. Senator of Truth says he agrees. One reverse Google search on Google Lens, it's a wrap. But yeah, it's funny. I've exposed myself from day one. To be honest, I'm probably being a bit more extreme, but really, if you're not a really big channel, to be honest, no one really cares. I think that is the greater truth. No one really cares as much as we think we do. We probably think our content is this super controversial or private bit of content that will cause a lot of despair or like disagreement. But in reality, it's just one video out of millions, right? One video out of millions. And in many cases, I find that people don't even care that much about what you're doing or your opinions. And I think that just speaks to what social media is. It's just so much information now. No one really cares unless you are a Kevin Samuels. Imagine before Kevin Samuels, there were so many other people saying the same thing, but yet it really wasn't quote unquote mainstream like that. But still, there is a risk. So again, if you want to be private, for example, don't put your government name in the as your handle. A lot of people. There are some people on YouTube that are thinking that is a flex, that you have your government name as your handle. That is a low IQ thing to do. You don't want to be putting your government information on a public forum. Your date of birth, your name, your family name. You don't want to be doing that. You're just giving people ammo to cause harm and ill will. Shout out to AO in the building. Long time no see. Good to see you in the building, sir. He says you did not fail. Oh, I appreciate that. I mean, I went through that at the beginning. Apparently, YouTubers with over 1,000 subs are like the top 8%. So in that sense, yeah, I didn't fail. I'm a monetized channel as well. And to be honest, that's been my main thing. I wanted to get smaller Black Brits or small any channels, man. It's not, it's not a racial thing. I just mentioned the group because of, it's a key word. But anyone who I mess with, small, I really wanted to help them. That's just, I guess, how I am. When I get information, and if you mess with me for a long time, like, I want to pass on that information. I want to see you grow as well. And no, it's not just an altruistic thing. I want you to grow so we can both grow. It's like a give take thing. You grow, I grow. Collab. We have I remember back in the day, man, and I know I'm going too much in the back in the day, but you could have 3 or 4 Black British YouTubers having a stream in the same night. And that was a good thing. You have different points of view, different opinions on different topics. You can jump in and jump out whenever you needed to. Now, like from what I can see, there's barely any. Now I know there's a few other podcasts, and content like the Connect. Shout out to them, but it's it's not the same where it was like individuals. It's almost like a hack to use a group of people to enhance content, and sometimes it just gets too skittish, as in everyone just talking. It's like it becomes like a conversation where you're not really speaking about the topic. I don't know if I'm making sense. AO says, reason why I can't be a YouTuber, I love privacy too much. I hear that, man. I hear that. Number 18, what I've learned being a YouTuber, you need to have thick skin. Okay? You need to have thick skin. You're always going to have trolls. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're doing something wholesome and nice and cute, you're going to have random trolls. There's a lot of mentally ill people who gravitate to the internet. A lot of people with personal issues who just lurk in the internet, literally as trolls. Okay. If you can't deal with people cussing you out, if you can't deal with people, just generally disagreeing with you, you're going to find it hard to be on YouTube, especially YouTube. Probably more so Instagram, maybe even Twitter now with Elon Musk as X. Damn, my head's itchy. But yeah, you need thick skin. And to be honest, I like trolls because at the end of the day, a lot of trolls are saying something in most cases that they can't say in real life, or they can't say out with their chest. So sometimes their information is meaningful, But the reality is a lot of trolls are just off the hook. They are unhinged. I've had to ban trolls that will make multiple accounts, and some of them were content creators, and it's sad because they just burnt a bridge. Burnt a bridge with a half decent guy who could work with you, who could, promote you and stuff like that. You burnt a bridge by being stupid, and that's that relationship done, But you need thick skin because there's always going to be someone that's going to say something foul, and it is what it is for me. I like that. I have thick skin. Sometimes I play around with the trolls. Sometimes I just ignore. If they take it too far, I just ban them. Really simple. Number 19, get editing software. So I love Final Cut Pro. I'm a Mac user. Final Cut Pro is just so easy, seamless to use. You can buy and get new like graphics or text or things that will just enhance your production. I think a problem is the reason why a lot of people gravitate to live streaming is because they don't have editing software. And so again, live streams become this really lazy pathway to making content. But if you don't do your live stream in a certain way, it becomes a skirmish. You know, it's like random information. And it's, again, the nature of a live stream is conversational, right? Normally you would edit out like you edit out dead noise, for example, or filler words like but in the live stream it's just all out there, so it's like the production quality goes down, but editing just makes the content crisp. And again, I don't think live streams should be the priority for anyone under 1,000 subscribers. You should focus on concise short videos that hit the point of whatever you're talking about. You know, and I'm really trying to hit now. There is a form, an art when it comes to video production. I'm really trying to hit that. I've loosely tried to follow a recommendation known as HICC, HICC, which is basically a structure of making a video. So the beginning is the hook, then it's an intro, then it's the main content, then it's a call for action. You know, I really believe that there is a very good art for making content. I'm trying to tap into that. You know, like, for example, the first 5 seconds of a video is super important. So the best YouTubers, the best content creators, they got something flashy happening in the first 5 seconds, and the next 30 seconds is crucial because that's typically when people with the shorter attention span will drop off. So it's really about cultivating that hook, right? Getting people engaged and then keeping attention spans throughout the video. You know, I'm really, there is a science to that I really want to understand and really want to learn, because it's very influential. Like I said at the beginning, if 1/3 of the planet is watching YouTube and you can master the art of content creation, you've effectively got a global advertisement portal without using billboards or someone's magazine or newspapers. You've got your own promotion, your own promoter. If you've got a business, etc., even if you don't, I think it's still important to have it there just in case. You might have a future idea, you might have a future product that you want to sell. You know, but I think having the editing, knowing how to edit as well, wanting to learn is very important. If I didn't have this editing software that I've had, my thumbnails wouldn't pop out like it does right now. I think it's quite good. I'm not sure what the professionals say, but for someone who does it themselves, I think it's quite good. And that's only possible because of the editing software. You know, it will save you from just using low quality pictures that you just found on the internet. You know, it just boosts your overall content, right? Son of Truth says, yep, I got Sony Vegas. Yeah, there's many others. I got another one, actually. I can see it on the Mac. CapCut. I recommend CapCut as well. I think it's a Chinese editing software, but it's just it's so modern. You know, it does things like it will cut an entire video. It could even be a long form live stream. It can cut it into shorts on the whim, right? And it will even give you its own video titles and stuff like that. Like, it's just very, again, it's deferring the manual labor that you'll be doing. CapCut, and I've paid for that as well. So I've got all the bonus material. What else is there? Of course, there is the one by Adobe, Premiere. I didn't really like Premiere that much. It wasn't, the UI just wasn't good in my opinion. That's why I moved to Final Cut Pro. But yeah, editing software is a must if you want to be serious. And if you know people, you can, you know, if you know people, if you know a guy that knows a guy, you can get these software, if you know what I mean, you know. If you need help with that, just comment below in the video, and I might be able to pass on some details. But software is key these days, man. I've been meaning to make a video about the fact that if you just learn individual software, that is literally opening up your skill set in terms of a career. These days, a lot of jobs are based in certain software. If you master that software, you've effectively mastered that job. So it's very important, in my opinion, to keep learning. So platforms like Udemy, I'm trying to learn some music software soon so I can produce my own music. I just think software is key. And last but not least, number 20, probably the most important point is enjoy it. Enjoy it. And I've said this before, enjoy it. You need to some degree, enjoy making content. I don't know, guys, do you think I enjoy it? Like, can you tell when I enjoy content? I'm just obsessed with creating something that looks good, sounds good, and can affect someone. You know what I mean? Don't know why exactly. Maybe there's a creative part of me, I think, but I just enjoy the science and work in it. It's almost like being in a lab where you recorded something and you're chopping it up and you're working on it. It's just it's rewarding. And again, when you get to the point where you have a monetized channel, you can actually get money from it. Like, I think it will make you respect content creation. I think when you're not monetized, content creation feels more like I don't know, it feels, you could still love it, but it doesn't feel complete when you're not getting paid for it. It's almost like you're just putting time into something, just like you're journaling. I think content creation feels very different once you start getting monetized, and it will make you think seriously about where you want your channel to go, how you present your content, what you talk about. I think it's very key, but you have to enjoy it. And I think if you don't really enjoy it like that, if you feel overwhelmed, that's probably a sign that perhaps it might not be for you. But I think the key to enjoying it is having the right niche, in my opinion, having the right niche that you're happy to come back to. That's why, when all these self-improvement gurus tell you, oh, video games are lame, video games are a waste of time. No, my view has always been, if you enjoy video games, don't suppress it, but try to make money out of it, essentially. Make content about it. If you really enjoy that video game that you've played all of your life, no need to suppress it. You enjoy doing what you enjoy doing. Why not make some content out of it? I'm sure there's millions of people around the world that have the same passion that you have for that game. You should never abandon your hobbies because someone thinks it's not cool. Absolutely not. Although the video game YouTube market probably is quite saturated, I think there's no true thing as completely saturated. I think as an individual, you have your own delivery, you can add your own spin to things. All you need is a good imagination. All you need, like, I remember seeing this guy was doing basically playthroughs from Zelda. I like The Legend of Zelda, for those that don't know. But his spin on it was like, black guy plays Zelda. And he's edited his videos in a comedic way. And although that Zelda Breath of the Wild came out like probably around 10 years now, it's still engaging because it's seen another person's take on something that we've all played before. So it's still engaging, it's still interesting, it's still entertaining. So I think the niche is very key. And it has to have longevity. It has to be something that you can see yourself doing with pride, You're not ashamed of your work. One of my big mistakes is deleting a lot of content. Well, if you're ashamed of it, you're liable to do that. But again, with that video that you delete all the views that are associated with it. You delete the reach that came from that video. So like I said earlier, I think in that case, if you need to change your niche, just make a new channel. I think that is the best thing you can do if you are looking to grow, right? So let me just quickly go through everything I've been through, the 20 things that I learned from doing YouTube as a failed Black British YouTuber, quote unquote. Number one, avoid talking about racial issues. Choose the right niche. Sometimes your niche won't support because they're small, aka the Black British, in my opinion. Use AI. Be prepared to lose friends, jobs, relationships over the content if you're saying controversial stuff. Obviously, a microphone and camera is a must. Trying to come on camera, although it's not essential these days. Talking about red pill stuff, relationship issues is a death trap, in my opinion, because YouTube doesn't really want to hear it. It's not really ad friendly. A lot of people are getting demonetized because of it. Buy a book to learn the basics of YouTube. Don't collab with other people with nothing to offer. I think don't live stream until you reach 1K subs. Have an upload schedule. Avoid making beef content, or don't make beef content at all. Don't expose your personal life on the internet. Make your channel as a personal brand. Don't let people use you and your channel for their own gain. Are you people that just want to take? Be prepared to be exposed, That's an important one. And you need to have thick skin if you want to take to social media, YouTube. I recommend you get editing software so you can have that level of finesse on your content. And most importantly, you need to enjoy doing what you're doing. And so these are the 20 things that I've learned in my many years of doing YouTube. Obviously, I don't say all this as if I'm some great YouTuber. No, in many's eyes, I have failed as a YouTuber. But you see, I still do the content because I more or less enjoy making content. You know what I mean? There's always something that pulls me into making content. And I think if you're a creative at heart, you will have that itch. But I think it's just about putting yourself in the right niche, having the right strategy going forward, the tools and equipment and know-how. And that's why I made this video or live stream, again, just to impart my knowledge. Okay, but I'm not trying to say that I'm a great YouTuber that knows everything. Absolutely not. And for that, I recommend you go to people like Ricardo Blake. Learn YouTube from people like him, people that observe that algorithm and have been here for far longer than I have. Okay, so what do you guys think about that? I hope it's been beneficial and useful. Also, in the next stream, I'm going to change my structure a little bit because I want to make the streams a bit more all-encompassing. Obviously, I want to talk about a lot of self-improvement stuff. I don't just want to talk about Black British stuff. So what I'm going to do in future live streams, I'm going to try to have different points of call in the stream. Okay, so it's a bit more, it might be a bit more interesting, a bit more varied, rather than just focusing on one point all the way through. Okay, so look out for that. Again, if you want to join the private Discord, just become a member of the channel. It's as cheap as $2.99. You get access to the Discord, but also you influence what I talk about in the next stream. Obviously, you can communicate with like-minded people amongst other perks. Okay, so consider that. But if anything, please just like the stream. That's good enough. Post your views underneath the content. That's good. That's more than good enough. And I hope you found this to be interesting. Senator Chu says, I got a secret tech and YouTube channel. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Use your hobbies, to make content. Absolutely. I'm always for that. And in fact, that is what's going to give you the longevity when it comes to making content. But obviously, as long as it's informative, I don't know, when it comes to Tekken, maybe it's like character analysis on individual characters. I know Tekken's quite competitive, right? So maybe I know a lot of channels look at frames, right? Certain moves, how it affects the frames and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, there's just so many things. There's just so many niches. Really, it's endless opportunities on YouTube. And I think, again, 1/3 of the planet watches YouTube, and it's just a very beneficial platform to be on. So in 2025, become a content creator. Definitely. You listening in 2025, become a content creator. Okay? Become a content creator. Like the stream, please, on our way out. I know there's normally a panel, but I just want this to be a very, a stream that people can just pick out whenever they need to, if they value my opinion and point of view. But going forward, yes, again, with the new structure, there's going to be always a panel. There's going to be something talking about self-improvement. So it could be some aspect of health and fitness or other. And then we're going to probably go into the main topic, which is typically the Black and British stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to create materials for that. And yeah, it's going to probably be a bit more engaging. Jesse in the building, salute to you. Says, who's the biggest Black British gaming channel? The Center of Truth says KSI. Does KSI still play games? But yeah, definitely most of these bigger YouTubers, they started from playing video games. And I think that's a point that a lot of people miss. You know, because they're trying to be cool. Oh, video games work. Like, I mean, let's be honest, man. If you're on YouTube, you're a nerd. You know, if you're on YouTube, if you're on these type of forums, there is a nerdy aspect to you. So it's like it's laughable when people pretend to be these cool guys that just don't do anything, that just want to make money all day. This is why I've been against that extreme self-improvement, because it just strips the humanity out of men. You know, like sayings like, "Oh, just be stoic, bro." Basically, you're telling a man to rid himself of his humanity and basically be a robot. And we get surprised when men crash out and a whole school and stuff. You know. But yeah, definitely. I think going forward, things that you enjoy doing in the real world is what you should be making YouTube, doing YouTube for, things that you're passionate about. You know, because that'll keep you engaged, it'll keep you interested. In the past, man, I felt quite lethargic when I have to speak about the negativity associated with, the Black community, quote unquote, because it felt like every newsreel was something negative. And I just left the stream thinking, like, what was the point? You know, what was the point? It's just, it does nothing. You know, obviously it engages with other people, but you're going to have a stream of negative comments, a lot of negative people with nasty things to say. The topic is negative. Someone's got stabbed or something like that. It's just long term. Can you really be doing that? Do you really want to be doing that? So definitely, I think you should have interest in what you're talking about. But then again, some people just do it for business, right? So sometimes it's not just about enjoying what you're doing. Sometimes you just have to be quite industrial and just do it, whether you like it or not. You know, it's like, like running a business, like something dry, like a laundrette. Running a laundrette, you might not be passionate about washing machines, but hey, it's a business, so you just run it, right? But at this point, I'm waffling. Guys, I really appreciate all of you that's been in the live stream tonight. I hope it's been beneficial. I hope you have helped me out and liked the stream where possible. And I hope you consider the things that I've said in this video. I hope it helps you out. If you need to learn or know anything more, feel free to comment underneath this video. I will hit you up. But again, if you want to join the Discord to further the conversation and I can be a bit more frank about certain things, go ahead and do that. But for tonight, I'm going to call it a night and I'm going to hit you off my outro. Okay, so peace to everyone who joined up and I'll see you in the next one.